Suicide Squad reviews are coming in, and with the review embargo now lifted, reviewers are now sharing their takes on the much-anticipated follow-up to Batman v Superman. But first, a few takeaways from last night's black carpet premiere. Actor Adewale Agbaje mentioned Jared Leto's gift to him of a dead pig, and it was actually used in a scene in the film. Director David Ayer repeated a fan's "fuck Marvel" during his introduction of the movie and later tweeted out an apology. And Margot Robbie led a squad chant with her castmates before entering into the screening. But more importantly, let's get into how critics feel about DC's take on the Dirty Dozen. Let's start with the positive ones. Den of Geek gave it a glowing review, relative to the rest to come, and praised both Will Smith and Margot Robbie. It has been a long time since Will Smith has been in a particularly good blockbuster, so it is easy to forget just how immediately likable his eternally youthful charisma can be. Still, this is Margot Robbie's show, and she devours just about every inch of the spotlight as Harley Quinn. Robbie dons everything children of Batman the Animated Series could want, even the extra thick Brooklyn accent. The Village Voice gave it another positive review, sort of. Ayer makes this comic book stuff play to his strengths. He has a feel for the ways that people handle desperation, for high-pressure situations in which flawed men and women are forced to live up to their responsibilities. He also praised Ayer for the dialogue, which he states was sharp and tight. Mr. Sunday Movies went on to say, "This isn't perfect, but it does a much better job of fleshing out the DC universe than both Man of Steel and Batman v Superman." Entertainment Weekly gave it a B-, saying that writer-director David Ayer skillfully sets up the film, introducing each of the crazies with caffeinated comic book energy, but their mission, to take down the villains, is a bit of a bust. The stakes should feel higher. However, We Got This Covered loved the movie and said that much of this is likely thanks to Ayer, who has a proven penchant for drawing natural interactions and deep emotion out of his actors, but a lot of it also has to do with the very correct top-down approach to this project and conceiving it as the story of a motley crew of genuinely bad people drawing together to do some good. There's power in that dynamic and a real potency to the characters that was entirely lacking in Batman v Superman due to its crippling misinterpretation of both of those characters. Slash Film Review also leaned positively, saying that Suicide Squad is not especially deep and doesn't try to be. It's just here to have a good time and it succeeds more often than not. We have What the Flick coming in with a mixed response, giving it an average of 5.7. On the episode, Alonso Duralde from The Wrap gave it a 5 out of 10, saying there's too much and the movie is trying to cram a 10-pound sausage into a 5-pound casing. On the other hand, Matt Atchity, founder of Rotten Tomatoes, gave it a 6.5 out of 10, saying it takes a while to get going, but I like this. I didn't love it, but I think this does a better job than the other couple of movies that we've gotten in this universe. I thought it worked okay. And unfortunately, we've now come to the overwhelming majority of the reviews submitted as of the time of this recording. IndieWire said of the film, "These heroes may be bad, but their movie is worse." The Hollywood Reporter gave it a scathing, rotten review, stating that a puzzlingly confused undertaking that never becomes as cool as it thinks it is. Suicide Squad assembles an all-star team of supervillains and then doesn't know what to do with them. IGN seemingly followed suit, stating that the plot is already thin and unexciting enough without an overstuffed cast dragging it down. The antagonists that we do get are perfect examples of what we don't want from our comic book movie villains. Vanity Fair went on to say that Suicide Squad is bad. Not fun bad, not redeemable bad, not the kind of bad that is the unfortunate result of artists honorably striving for something ambitious and falling short. Suicide Squad is just bad. It's ugly and boring, a toxic combination that means the film's highly fetishized violence doesn't even have the exciting tingle of the wicked or the taboo. Oh, how the movie wants to be both of those things. It's simply a dull chore steeped in flaccid machismo, a shapeless, poorly edited trudge that adds some mildly appalling sexism and even a soupçon of racism to its abundant, hideously timed gun worship. However, within the mud, Will Smith and Margot Robbie received the majority of cast praise. Sort of. Michael Phillips with the Chicago Tribune stated, "In this headache of a movie, Will Smith provides the aspirin. Meanwhile, we have this garish, overstaffed, overstuffed, blithely sadistic corporate directive disguised as a PG-13 summer movie for all ages." According to NJ.com, a New Jersey publication, they praise Margot Robbie with, "Margot Robbie steals the show, using sex as a weapon, also mallets, baseball bats, custom-made revolvers, and anything else she can get her hands on. She's a lethal lovely with dangerous desires." Notably, praise for Jared Leto's Joker is surprisingly absent, which is bizarre. And interestingly enough, Breaking Banter, although they lean negative, they did mention something interesting. That being that the first trailer that was released at Comic-Con years back was the most accurate representation of what the film was. I think the takeaway from all of this is that we're probably going to get some standout performances from the cast, but the film seems to have some editing and pacing issues. And with that being said, I think it's also important to note that I have yet to see the movie, so I'm just going to echo what the schmoes Christian Harloff said earlier today on Movie Talk, and that being to reserve judgment for yourself. Even if a vast majority of critics are basically destroying this film, look at the track record of how discordant critics' views have been in comparison to the general audiences, especially in this genre. And remember too, that Rotten Tomatoes is only an aggregate of the opinions of professional critics. I think that if you want to know how an audience, you the consumer, or basically how the general public feels about a film, you should really check out Metacritic. And of course, here on YouTube, because online pundits typically veer closer to how the everyday person will respond to a film. And my review will be up this Friday. But if you disagree with the critics in these reviews, don't dislike this video. Comment below because I want to hear from you. Let's start a discussion on how you feel about this because I'd really like to know your guys' thoughts and opinions on these reviews. And remember, please subscribe so that you're notified in your newsfeed when the next video is uploaded. Please remember to give this video a like and share it about. Help support this channel through Patreon and using any of the links in the description below. You people are awesome as always, and thanks for watching.